Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name's Sean, and if you've been watching me this lately, you'd notice that I have a lot of thoughts on the Mortal Kombat movies, on the latest Mortal Kombat movie. Honestly, I had such a rough time with that movie. Maybe I went a little over the top, maybe I was a bit emotional, maybe I pissed a lot of people, maybe I pissed some people off with my thoughts. I know, the movie offended the senses, okay? Like, that was a rough time. Like, rough time. I mean, like, masturbating with freaking goddamn, freaking, oh, never mind. Anywho, I'm gonna move past that and talk about an actually good Mortal Kombat thing, which is Mortal Kombat Scorpion's Revenge. Now, this movie came out a couple years ago. I didn't think too much of it. It was an animated movie. Warner Brothers does a lot of animated movies for all of their properties. They do a lot of animated stuff all the time. Like on the cheaper side in terms of the animation. It's nothing too fancy. You know, they do a lot of animation, you know. Seems like if you got a good idea, they're like, well, just chuck it to the animation guys and see what you want to do with it. But this is now this movie is the original Mortal Kombat tournament. I mean, it's about the original tournament, you know, the whole 9 yards, you know, the whole 9 yards. Outworlds, you know, they get 9 matches. Shang Tsung's won 9 matches. You know, Lu Kang, Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, Raiden, whole 9 yards, except for one change, which is the biggest problem with the movie. The biggest problem with the movie. There are 2 things that are against this movie being as good as it could have been. And the 2 big problems that kind of drop the score, and it drops it not that small, like I'm talking a point and a half, at least for me, is the focus on Scorpion. While the focus on Scorpion is cool because there are some sequences that are freaking awesome. First of all, now the fucking fight scene in the Mortal Kombat movie that just came out was awesome, was cool when, you know, in the first 7 minutes when he's fighting off, you know, Sub-Zero's clan, and, you know, it's cool. But man, that sequence in this, when Sub-Zero's clan, like, kills off his whole people, and Scorpion, Hanzo's just taking all these guys out, man, it is intense, it is gory, it is bloody, it is violent. It's a lot. Oh, man. And even, like, there's even something in this that you actually don't get in, at least personally, I don't think I've seen in any of the other materials. Now, when Scorpion, you know, Hanzo dies, you are told he goes to hell. You know, you're told he goes to hell, and he's like raging, and he comes back. I mean, that's essentially, that's an abbreviated version of it. Like, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but he goes to hell. He's got so much hatred and anger in him. He comes back to kill Bihan, aka first Sub-Zero #1, and he comes back to kill him. That's all you're really told. But in this movie, you get to see that shit. You get to see the process, which is him in hell and being on hooks and bleeding, and these demons down there who torture people, and this demon's like, I'm gonna torture you, I'm gonna make you squeal. And man, he just is like, fuck you. And he rips himself off of there, kills the demon with the very hook chains that were freaking was holding him still in the first place, then proceeds to murder every freaking demon down there on his way to Quan Chi. I was like, wow. I mean, that was some God of War hardcore shit right there. That was like some Dante's Inferno shit. I was like, damn, that was hardcore. Scorpion is hardcore. They really put that over in this movie. Like, he ain't just a bad motherfucker. This dude's even bad in hell. It was like, this is gonna be a reference that some people are gonna get, some people. It's like Stinkmeaner. If you ever watch the Boondocks, there's a character named Stinkmeaner, and Stinkmeaner dies at a certain point because he's a bastard. He goes to hell, but he's such a bastard. He's such a fucked up dude that he kicks so much ass in hell that the devil lets him out to save everyone else. That's how much ass he kicked. That was a very similar thing that happened in this. He was just beating the shit. He just killed all the demons, man. And it was like, this dude just murdered them all. Like I said, that was awesome. Problem is, the movie's only about an hour and like 15 minutes, 14 minutes tops. After that, it's credits. I mean, it's credits. And Scorpion has about almost 50 minutes of it, which leaves this small chunk of time for all the other characters. Which leaves a slither for Johnny Cage, a slither for Lu Kang, a slither for everyone, for Sonya Blade. Just a slither of time to set anything up. Which is the biggest problem with this movie, is it's too small. It's too... I don't think I've ever said this about anything before. I'll check the tape. I don't think I've ever said this. It's too short. It's so short that it compromises so many other aspects of the movie. First of all, and they do change quite a bit too. They do change some things in there as well. But it's too short because, but for most part, I'll tell you one thing: it's more faithful than that damn movie I just saw. Regardless of any complaints I got about this, which I do have some complaints. It is much better than that shit. And it's much better than that shit by a long shot, because at least they get some things correct. Yes, Raiden, there ain't no freaking mark on them. If you have this mark and you defeat the other person, and he's defeated, that person gets the mark. Which I'm glad a couple people have brought up. Well, what if you get in a car crash and someone kills you with their car? Does that mean a soccer mom's gonna get the mark? Does that mean soccer mom gets the mark? Is that what that means? Soccer mom has to go fight in the tournament because she accidentally killed you. No! The mark thing is stupid. It's just a shortcut to explain powers and abilities that they don't even have to explain. At least this movie got that right. We don't gotta get into that shit. They got these abilities. It is what it is. You know what I mean? First of all, Sonya's little purple/pink energy blast are not magical. It's technological. Just like she had in the movie. Like I said, man, there was this Kano's eye isn't a magical thing. It's a fucking, it's an actual thing. And Kano was working for Shang Tsung, and they actually stuck by the rules in this. Literally, Shang Tsung says, I would not dare, go against the Elder Gods. I wouldn't dare cheat. And that's how it was in the original. Like, Raiden and Shang Tsung could not get directly involved, but did they know who was gonna? Did Raiden have the foresight to know that Lu Kang could win? Did he have the foresight to know that Johnny Cage could be a great champion? That Sonya could be? Did he know all these things? Yes. And they didn't need a mark or anything. They all came there, and just like in the original, just like how it should be done. Johnny Cage, Lu Kang, and Sonya all came to this fight for totally different reasons. Sonya came to kill Kano. Cage came to stroke his ego, or at least he thought he came to stroke his own ego. And Lu Kang came because he thought it was his destiny. And they all go on a nice journey of discovery. And they become close friends, and they save the world. That's really the story. In actuality, Scorpion was not in a lot of the first Mortal Kombat. Of the story. When you read the story, essentially, he just shows up like out of nowhere, wrecks the whole tournament. Well, discombobulates the whole, not wreck it, but discombobulates the whole tournament by just murdering Sub-Zero. They have this epic fight, and he kills Sub-Zero, and he drags his fucking ass to hell. And that's what happens. He's not in it that long. So, but the problem with the movie is the circle around him. It's centered around him. It's showing how he feels. It's showing his interactions with certain characters. It's making him less of a wild card. Because Scorpion was a wild card. When Scorpion showed up, he was just this enraged wild card. He was a wild animal, dude. He was a pit bull. He was angry, full of rage, pit bull. He would lash out at anybody when he first shows up. It's not until the second game, once he discovers what really happened, that he starts to kind of actually realize, that he even crosses his mind that maybe I'm going too far. And it ain't till 11. I mean, it ain't till X that he's actually completely redeemed. That he's redeemed, and he's calmed down. But before that, he was just a loose cannon, dude. Scorpion was the loose cannon. He was like He was like Vegeta during the Frieza saga. I am mixing a lot of references in here, man, with Boondocks and a lot of anime references. Sorry about that if you don't get it. But yeah, he's like Frieza during the freaking Yeah, not Frieza. He's like Vegeta doing the Frieza saga where he's just like, he ain't with those guys, he ain't with the good guys, he's just a loose cannon, we don't know what the fuck he's gonna do. That is what goddamn Scorpion starts off as. And then he becomes something differently. He evolves into something else, but that's what he started off as. But in this, the problem with this movie is, since it's centered around him, they have to pretty much get to the redemption arc right off the bat. They have to get to the, he's actually a good man, he's actually not that bad. Yes, he's brutal, but, you know, they had to get to that right off the bat. And they compromised about, first of all, Lu Kang wins this in the original. He wins the tournament, but in this he doesn't. Because, like I said, they have to center it around, you know, Scorpion. And while there's some awesome-ass fight sequences, so I'm not going to complain but so much, it did compromise it. They basically had to fast forward through the tournament because there was no time to spend on the tournament. There was no time to spend on anything. They had to, every single aspect of this movie is just fast-forwarded through because they don't have time. This is one of the few times I would ever say this. This movie could have used another hour. Another hour, and this could have been a great, perfect, animated version of the Mortal Kombat story that we all know. Just a little bit, just an extra hour of time to set up certain aspects, set up certain character beats, to actually get into them, you know. Just a couple of little bits of that. But like I said, overall, it's still more accurate than the last movie I saw. It's probably the best Mortal Kombat movie. I'm gonna say it. It's probably the best Mortal Kombat movie because it's closer to the actual source material than any of the other ones. Like I said, they changed quite a bit, but it's clear to me that the things they changed, they only changed because they didn't have time to get into it, so they just had to fast forward through it. I would probably give this a 7 out of 10. It's not perfect. Like I said, it has a lot of issues. But if you're looking, for my money, I really needed to watch something. I watched the 1995 Mortal Kombat, which I think is better than the other Mortal Kombat, and then I watched this, and I could come to the conclusion that this is probably the best Mortal Kombat. They actually stick to what the original premise of the entire thing was, which was this tournament, which was like Enter the Dragon with pomp and circumstance. It was like a boost up, it was like a pumped up Enter the Dragon. It was like a fantasized Enter the Dragon. You know, you got old man Shang Tsung sitting on the throne. You got Goro, who's the champion of the Mortal Kombat. You got them coming to this island. You got all these fighters coming to this island. You got Scorpion showing up. You got Scorpion showing up as this wild card who no one knows to trust. You got the trinity of Sonya, Lu Kang, and Johnny Cage playing their parts, with Lu Kang being the unofficial leader, and Sonya being tough as nails, but got her mind so stuck on trying to kill Kano that she can't really see what's going on. And Johnny just being Johnny, being hilarious, being like just not knowing what the hell's going on, but you know, being Johnny. And like I said, that's really what the original story was about. And you got Raiden being the wise Gandalf figure. Like, that's what the original story was about. Like, it's gotten crazier over the years. It's gotten more complicated. It's gotten more crazy, silly, whatever you want to call it. But the original Mortal Kombat was actually pretty straightforward. Was actually pretty simple. And, like, they actually executed what the original Mortal Kombat was. And I am happy about that. I wish that the other movie could. I hope they come up with a sequel to this, because they set up Shao Kahn and what he would do in the sequel. Well, I hope they do it. They probably won't, though. The movie came out a couple years ago and haven't really heard anything about it since. But I think that this is probably the best. That and maybe the web channel. Anybody know about that? The Mortal Kombat web show that they used to have on there. That might be another good representation too. But I tell you one thing, it ain't that fucking movie that came out the other day. I tell you that for a fact. Thank you guys for the Comic Game Movie Show. Please like, subscribe. And have you seen Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge? I rented it for like $4 because I really wanted to see it. I kind of regret doing that because, well, I got HBO Max right now. So, because someone got HBO Max and I was like, oh, so I could have just watched it on there. Well, but anyways, thank you guys for the Comic Game Movie Show. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.